You are listening to the Hemp Beverage News Podcast, brought to you by the Hemp Beverage Expo, the only trade show in the space connecting brands with the retailers, suppliers, and distributors they need. Join us to hear from the people building it from the ground up.
Welcome. I'm your host, Pam Schmiel, the editor behind hemp-beveragenews.com. Today we're joined by Kelsy Raap, co-owner of Upstate Elevator, a family-run company that got its start in Vermont's legal cannabis market nearly a decade ago and has since expanded into hemp beverages, which are now selling in multiple states. Kelsy brings an herbalist perspective to the business, always exploring how minor cannabinoids and functional botanicals can work together to create better products. She's also deeply committed to Vermont's craft tradition, proving that it's possible to grow a company while maintaining the quality and integrity that small producers are known for. In this episode, we explore the future of cannabis formulation, why cannabinoids like CBDA and THCV are opening new possibilities for wellness products, how functional ingredients like kava and kanna fit into the next generation of beverages, and how Upstate Elevator is preparing for the uncertainty surrounding the proposed November 12th hemp ban. Let's welcome Kelsy Raap to the show.
So we are Upstate Elevator. We are a family-owned and operated hemp and cannabis company. We've been in business since 2016. Our brand launched in 2017. We started as a grow store. So we've been for 9 years, 10 years for the grow store, 9 years for the brand. We've been trying to find ways to reunite people with cannabis, to bring people back closer to the plant. So we started out as a grow store, selling all the equipment and supplies. We would teach after-hours classes. We actually carry the cannabis now in our dispensary from a student who went through the whole curriculum with us, learned how to grow cannabis from us, and then brought his finished product back to us. Now we buy his cannabis to sell at our dispensary.
That's cool.
Really beautiful full circle.
That's really cool. And what town are you in?
We're in Burlington.
Burlington.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I bet the kids there, you probably had some good customers in your store.
We do. So the grow store launched in 2016. We did that with the intention of turning it into a dispensary. We were just 6 years ahead of Vermont's legalization. We thought it would go a little faster. I think some of the context of the cannabis and hemp industry in Vermont, we're a very thoughtful and progressive community, but things happen slowly and change rolls out slowly. And I think the real advantage and unique aspect to that is that we've done a good job protecting the craft market. So you don't have huge MSOs coming in and out-competing all of the small local brands. And we're seeing that in the hemp space as well. But that's always kind of been a Vermont advantage, is that we operate on a small craft scale with exceptional quality.
Right.
So when we launched the grow store, we thought we'd be a couple years away from legalization. We'd open the dispensary. We launched the CBD product line when we discovered, really after the 2016 Farm Bill made it accessible, made high CBD concentrates accessible. Within about 4 months, 4 square feet on our countertop, we're outselling 5,000 square feet of grow supplies. And that was just CBD capsules. This was like when all you could find was 30 milligrams CBD in a pill. So when that became apparent, the demand and the massive potential of the non-psychoactive side of cannabis, when that became apparent, we started developing our own CBD products. So that's where Upstate Elevator came from. We are in, the Northeast region and the northern part of Vermont, but upstate is a reference to the state of mind that we're going to help you achieve, and that we help you elevate your day. So we happen to be next to upstate New York. We do get a lot of people confused about that, but Vermont based.
Yeah.
Our approach has always been create the most effective, but also the most delicious products that we can. So we tend to really excel in product formats where flavor is a big driver. And what we do very well is consistency in dosing and multi-cannabinoid formulation. So we were one of the first brands to offer, for example, CBDA in a capsule. We are the only brand that I have found through Google searches still to offer a THC-free, organically certified product. It's very hard to get organic certification for THC-free products because of the extraction technology available. We found a partner who has a patented water extraction technology. So just trying to give you a sense that for us, the quality of our ingredients, the purity of the ingredients is really important for delivering consistent, predictable results. Recently, we reabsorbed our manufacturing. So in our early days, we were making everything ourselves. We outgrew our demand, outgrew our capacity. We shifted to some co-packaging partners. In the last 6 months, we've taken it all back in-house. So we're making all of our own gummies again, all of our own capsules, tinctures, topicals. The only product we don't manufacture is our beverages. We don't have a canning line. But we did invest with another local partner to help them set up a canning line for the regulated cannabis drinks that we make for the Vermont marketplace. I've gone off on a few tangents here, but the elevator pitch is family-owned and operated cannabis and hemp company in business, 10 years as a company, 9 years as a brand. Our focus has always been on the highest quality, most delicious, and still very effective formulas that we can design. That's the long and short.
I have some questions.
Guide me.
Okay. So the CBDA, I just kind of want to go back to the different cannabinoids. So that's an acidic.
Exactly. And so there are not many companies manufacturing with acidic cannabinoids because they're very unstable. It's really hard to maintain them in that state.
And extract them.
That's right. It's a cold extraction.
Yeah.
So we offer them in capsule form only because tincture converts from CBDA to CBD.
You can't hold it in a tincture.
Yeah, if you put it into a tincture, at least we couldn't get it to stabilize. Also, why are people going to choose something with CBDA? Probably because they want the gastrointestinal anti-inflammatory benefits. So you really want a product that's getting down into the gut instead of being absorbed before the digestive system.
Yeah, and also I was kind of taking a deep dive into the acidics a few months ago, talking to some scientists in that area, and I find it so intriguing and very, like the future of medicine, just because it's not there with the extraction and it's so volatile. It's hard. There's only a few people who can really do it. There's a few, like bigger players, like somebody, a smaller operation trying to figure this out you stand out as somebody who's doing it. But anyway, from what they've told me is the CBDA they have found is so much more potent than CBD. So that's why they're using it. It's really good for, say, like medicinal purposes, yeah, like fighting inflammation, because you need lesser dose. So it's also economically, but it's so concentrated. So for instance, if you were trying to treat someone with epilepsy, but just on a general level, I would love it to fight inflammation anywhere in the body and have it like to be as potent and down to that natural acidic. So I think it's a real standout.
Yeah. And I think we're going to see the same thing with THCA soon.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see more, medical marijuana and wellness, high THC wellness formulas driven by THCA.
Yeah. So
do you remember the research that came out of the University of Oregon during COVID, that the headlines were very misleading?
Yeah,
but there was a kernel of truth in it, right?
Yes.
Hemp cures COVID. Not
Yeah.
quite.
Right. It's the inflammation and right.
Well, so the acidic CBDA and CBGA prevent the SARS-2 coronavirus from entering human cells in a petri dish. So that is the actual research that came out. Very exciting and huge potential. But we don't know, okay, well, does that mean that you have to bathe in CBDA to get that benefit? How do we administer it? What's the dose? Nobody knows.
Yeah,
But they proved that these acidic cannabinoids have a level of antiviral action that is beyond anything we knew about and beyond what other antiviral options were doing for COVID.
I just see potential everywhere anyway in this medicinal wellness thing. And I guess maybe sometimes I get confused. So it's THCV, I think, is kind of really out there. That's like the weight thing and makes you not so hungry and things like that. But the THCA, I don't think we've seen as much THCA. And the acidics are really just being talked about, I feel like, this year. But obviously you've tapped into it.
No, you're right. Yeah, it's very recent that people are looking at that. The varins, THCV, CBDV, the varins are a subfamily of cannabinoids. The acidics are a subfamily of cannabinoids. So that's where you'll see the varins or the acidics with many different acronyms before them.
So do you have the CBDA is only in your pill format, but it's not in your beverages because it's
not in the beverages. I'm not sure that you could stabilize CBDA because especially if you carbonate the beverage, right? So now you're increasing the basically once you open the drink, oxygen, UV light, and heat convert CBDA into CBD. So now you've got bubbles that are gasifying it and increasing the circulation.
Well, how about in like if you were to expand your drink line into other types, would CBDA, I think this is true. I think somebody told me this. You could just put it in a tea, like and steep it and get the same benefits. I don't know if that's proven.
Yeah, you will. You'll get predominantly the acidic cannabinoid coming out. That's assuming you're steeping fresh flower.
Yeah, fresh flower, exactly.
Fresh flower. Ideally harvested very recently, like not even dried and cured, but ideally super fresh flower. Yeah. And then making a tea out of it. That's a great way to get THCA out of, cannabis flower. And you will still get that. Like if somebody wanted THCA, buy an eighth of flower and make tea out of it. 90% of what you're getting will be THCA. A little bit of it will convert with the heat of the water.
Right. Yeah. So I actually somebody gave me a couple samples at the show. They were selling tea packets as CBD flower but how long sitting there? Yeah. So I'm kind of excited to just have it as a medicinal, kind of thing. But anyway, but I just like that all about your company. I think that's really cool. And then did you have any cultivation backgrounds in your family?
We sure do. So, my brothers and I started, my older brother started this company in 2016. I joined in 2015. I joined him in 2016. That's when we opened the grow store. We come from an agricultural family. So agriculture and plant-based products have always been part of our background. My dad founded what was, for a period of time, the largest mail order gardening catalog in the United States. My mom has always been a self-studied herbalist and witchy woo-woo lady with lots of plant medicines.
Oh, I love it.
My background is like initially learning how to make elderberry tincture with her and learning how to chew on plantain and put it on bug bites or scratches or bruises. I then went on for more formal herbalism education, but this is kind of our generation's approach at continuing to help people reconnect with plants and give us more ways to access the therapeutic and recreational benefits.
That's so great. I just love it. You know, I have to say, every brand that I met at the show or that I'm meeting, you know, when you start digging into the stories behind everybody has such great stories that are different. Like you think, oh, how am I going to differentiate this brand from that? You know, kind of like in general. And I'm just finding these amazing stories. So how many different flavors do you have? What are your dosing?
So our strategy for the call it low dose THC side of the hemp beverage market has been to develop exceptional flavors in different dose profiles for different markets. As many brands have done, you know, over the last 2 years, we went a little bit too big with our SKU count.
Right.
And we have since narrowed it, trying to focus on dose profiles that cover the most number of markets. So today we have 3 dose profiles: a 1 milligram THC with 15 CBD, a 5 milligram THC. Some of those also have 5 CBD or CBG, and then a 10 milligram set, some which have a supporting cannabinoid as well. Sorry, I'm actually getting that backwards.
Okay.
In our recreational market, we have 10 milligrams with a supporting cannabinoid. For the national market, we developed THC with adaptogens. We were not permitted to use those adaptogens in our in-state home market. So we swapped out the adaptogens with cannabinoids that accomplish a similar effect.
Okay.
So for example, we do a yuzu lemonade, which in the national market includes GABA, magnesium, and L-theanine. We're not allowed to use those compounds for our home state recreational market. So that same beverage has 10 milligrams of THC with 5 milligrams of THCV. And both, whether you have the nootropic adaptogen stack with 10 milligrams or the THCV with 10 milligrams, you get a similar social, uplifted, more outgoing, more confident kind of high, instead of THC alone can feel a little introverted for some people, or a little bit more distracted. So to answer your original question, we have 3 dose profiles. Within those, we have 9 flavors. 3 flavors are available in the 1 milligram, 4 flavors are available in the 5 milligram, and 6 flavors in the 10 milligram, and a couple of them overlap.
Okay. So, where are you finding, I mean, one milligram seems ridiculously low to me. I couldn't even.
Me too.
Not even worth it. Honestly, I mean, it's not even worth it. But I know there's a market out there.
Yeah.
So where are you finding?
Frustratingly, it's right here. Vermont is the market.
Everybody wants the small, low. So,
That's the cap. So in Vermont and in Colorado and even in New York State, the state cap for their hemp regulatory framework is 1 milligram of THC.
For New York,
For New York, yeah. Ask
That's
me
why
how
there's
many
none here.
people are following that rule.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not many.
Yeah. Well, you don't because I think also, there's so many dispensaries here. People
Are
don't,
you in New York State?
yeah, I'm in New York
Okay,
City.
cool. Okay.
Yeah. So, we're really a dispensary state, I feel like. That's
Yeah.
where I buy beverages all the time, but it's in
Yeah.
the dispensary because we don't have them in the stores like you go to Texas or,
Right.
Florida or wherever, they're everywhere. It's just not even, so when I go to places like that, I think, wow, this is so normal. I can't even, but not here.
So I just delivered 200 cases of 10 milligram THC drinks to a co-op in Albany, New York. Not a dispensary, a natural foods co-op.
Oh,
I'm just trying to highlight for you that many people are choosing the risk level that they're comfortable with, many
right. I
businesses.
know. Yeah, I know. Right. No, I know. And this is, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out
Yeah.
with, yeah, how many people will engage in that. Maybe we'll lose the targets and the specs and the wine and whatever for a little bit. But I think there's so many pockets that you could, like 200 cases, that's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, if they, and then I mean, in New York, like I said, we do have dispensaries everywhere, but
Mm-hmm.
if there's got to be places like that in Iowa, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like where you
Mm-hmm.
fill that market, they're all going to be like, wait a second, what about Minnesota? Anyway, yeah,
Yeah. Well, and right, all these states that are developing a state level framework
that
still don't
too.
know if the feds are going to let us pro proceed with that framework.
I know,
Just because a state allows 5 milligrams doesn't mean the federal government's going to turn a blind eye to it.
I think again, I think it's going to be not high risk, people that are at high risk,
Mm-hmm.
they're just
Right.
going to they have to step away for a little bit. But that's okay because there's other places that might even open up other opportunities that we weren't thinking about because you're like, I have to get into Target, I have to get into Circle K, but maybe it's not really, maybe this is an opportunity.
Well, and that's what built the CBD hemp market was all independent retailers, you know? There was
Right.
not a single corporately owned business that carried CBD until like 2019. And we had products in the market for 3 years before you'd ever see them in a, grocery food store.
Right. And that market fell flat. I feel like we didn't know what we were really doing. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't set up properly and yeah, like what people were expecting and stuff like that. But I think it's coming back around again. Uh,
Yeah.
so
Well, so actually you made me think of something when you said 1 milligram, what's the point?
yeah.
One of the points is shifting the CBD customer to be open-minded about THC.
Oh yeah. No, I see there's definitely, listen, we're in our little bubble.
Yeah.
But I was standing in line, I was standing in line here in New York to go onto this ferry, and there were like these three youngish, I'm going to say in their 20s, late 20s, professional girls talking behind me, and they're talking about, oh, I had a two milligram beverage, blah blah blah, and they were just, and one girl's like, really? Oh, like, oh my God.
Right.
Another girl actually was like, "Oh, I had a 50 or something." And the other two girls were so shocked that somebody could possibly have that. But I thought, here these young 20-something-year-olds are talking about 2 milligram, like that's a good spot for me,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
And it is for so many people. I mean,
Yeah, the older people too.
older people or people that are returning to THC after not, maybe they had a bad experience with it
Yeah,
or only ever ate uh unpredictable edibles that they made in the college dorm room, right?
right, right.
Um,
But
so
still,
yeah, so it's a gentle introduction for the CBD wellness customer to the benefits of something that includes a perceptible but not altering amount of THC. Giving a total quantity cap 0.4 milligrams is an insane way to try to measure botanicals. It's like saying you can only call an orange a legal orange if it has 1 milligram of vitamin C. That doesn't exist in an orange, right? No such thing as an orange with only that much vitamin C.
Right.
So that's what they did with hemp, right? They said, same genus and species as marijuana, cannabis sativa L, right? Cannabis sativa L will be considered hemp if it has this much THC. You just invented a plant that doesn't exist.
So if now we're talking about 4 milligram or 0.4 milligrams versus that dry weight. So we're used to, so it's lower than we're used to, which is not great. I feel like the general public is in that 10. And that's what liquor stores, their sales have been telling.
That's what the data shows us.
Yeah, that's what the data is showing. Sweet spot 10. Which is, now that's really half of what you're used to. It's really, how does that affect the manufacturing and the biomass that you need, the economics there, if you stick with the 4 milligrams and
right.
But you already have a low milligram in the market, so maybe that's just where you stay for a little bit.
For us, we're not interested in offering people products that they're not going to notice.
Yeah.
And you're not going to notice 0.4 milligrams of THC. So we are not going to manufacture a beverage that will try to be compliant with the new federal regulations.
Okay.
We are going to continue manufacturing, well, our plan today, which could change with any amount of information that comes out, we'll continue to manufacture beverages for those markets where we feel there's strong protection for beverages. And that might mean we have to switch to intrastate commerce, right? That's one of the potential pathways after November. If the federal government...
regulated, you're going to just manufacture within each state that you're going to go.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be for the regulated marijuana market. It would be for the state's hemp program.
Yeah. So you're going to just replicate. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, which means now you have to, as a business, right? You have to go find a co-packager in Texas and Tennessee and Florida and Georgia. You know, all of your best markets, you have to license your brand in that market. You have to find warehouse and storage in each of those places. It is logistically and economically unfeasible, except for in your very best markets. And even then, that really shifts your staffing, right? From a corporate kind of model where we're supporting all of our accounts across the country to a much more distributed model.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what this is going to do for the distributor piece, right? It might be that presumably the distributors that are operating in states that have created a framework are going to continue to operate the way that the state's framework has guided for them. But again, TTB could come in and say something else.
Right. I know. Right. But that's a kind of a good, that's a good plan. That's how the regulated market is operating. So it can be done. It's just obviously it's going to just not be as nice and easy as it's been. Right.
And were you listening to the legal panel at the HBE? Yeah, right.
Yes.
So their answers around, we expect there isn't enough regulatory resources for the federal government to do anything about this in a state that has created a framework. That's what they expect. But who knows?
I just heard, as a matter of fact, I wanted to kind of follow up on this to get the facts on this, but I did recently hear somebody in the know who said that the hemp ban, it defines this is going to, November 12th is the end, but there are no provisions in that bill for for police, for
Right. They
oversight.
haven't funded the
No, they
ban.
haven't.
So who's gonna come slap our hands? What
So-
I will say is Upstate Elevator has a low risk tolerance, and we
Good.
protect what we've built with a lot of care. So we are going to remain compliant in all the states where we have operations, and remain compliant, within whatever regulating bodies we're operating under.
It might just shrink the business a little bit for some time, right? And then you just
That's what I think all brands are anticipating, a reduction in revenue and a reduction in output for a period of time.
Yeah.
We heard a lot about, I like the framing of a hibernation that we heard about at the HBE. I think a hibernation period, we're all trying to figure out how do we not wind down operations during that time to the degree that makes it difficult to be on shelves and competitive as soon as we're allowed to be.
Right.
And also many of us are moving to non-cannabinoid product development. We feel very well positioned to launch new botanical products because it's just an extension of what we've already been doing, which is giving people natural ways to improve the way that they feel, formulated with very specific effects in mind. Delicious flavors, consistent dosing. But all of us are trying to convince the consumer, you're going to love this new thing that you've never tried, and it's totally going to be just as good as THC. It's not. It's not going to be the same.
It's not
going
going
to
to
feel
be the
different.
same. It is going to feel different. And that's why I don't love that pivot, because
It's
and
not a replacement. I would
not,
say it's an augmentation for people using hemp and cannabis in their daily wellness routine. It's a natural extension to look to other botanicals that have complementary effects. And I really do think they're complementary. We're working with kava and kanna. I would blend those with CBD or THC, and that would be a fabulous synergistic effect.
oh, really? What are you working with on them? I've heard that there's some great somebody at the show actually their products are geared towards women, like menopausal.
Yeah.
But they were talking about kanna as one of those ingredients that could be.
So kanna is very interesting for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons that it's getting tossed around in a lot of perimenopause and menopause conversations is because it's a natural serotonin reuptake inhibitor. And many women are, in my opinion, erroneously getting prescribed SSRIs in perimenopause and menopause instead of addressing the hormone dysregulation.
Totally.
And so if you're looking for a mood stabilizing option, but you don't want the many side effects of an SSRI, and frankly, it's not a serotonin problem, it's a hormone production problem.
Yeah.
Kanna is getting talked about because its mechanism of action in the brain is very different from an SSRI. You still get increased serotonin, but you don't get the discontinuation side effects, and you don't get 4 to 6 weeks before you know if it's working. So it's like, although serotonin availability is not the root cause for women in menopause and perimenopause, it is a real symptom that if you can alleviate it, you get a lot of relief. I would recommend those women are still looking at hormone regulating options, but in the meantime, and for as needed, that's what's great. You use it as needed. It's not every day if you don't need it every day, or every day for 26 days, and then you don't need it for a while, or whatever it is. Why put someone on a prescription that you can't take yourself off of safely? You don't know if it's going to work for a month. and you're treating a symptom and not the root cause.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. So how about kanna versus kava?
Yeah. So very different botanicals with beautiful synergy together.
Oh,
And very different mechanisms of action. So kava is a plant that comes from the South Pacific Islands. It has been used for millennia in traditional, cultural, social, and kind of culturally important moments. It's very relaxing. So it has a number of active ingredients, kavalactones. Depending on which kavalactones you're working with, in which ratios, and in which format, right? Like a fast-acting, quickly absorbed, or a longer duration option. It can either be more sedative or more relaxing without feeling, foggy, groggy, heavy. So we are mostly working with the kavalactones that are less sedative but calming. So I might compare that to CBD instead of CBN, right? Relax the nervous system, but don't put you to sleep. Go ahead.
And then the serotonin. So I see the whole thing, the combination. Yeah, layering. It's perfect.
So kava acts on your GABA receptors, and kanna acts on your serotonin receptors.
Okay.
And I mean, they have many other interactions throughout the body, but that's one of the more basic ways of thinking about it. So you have something that's working on the neurotransmitters that support a good mood, a brighter outlook, and something that's working on the neurotransmitters that help us reduce reactivity, sink into our bodies a little bit, feel less, distracted and less looping intrusive thoughts, more embodied.
Yeah, that's great.
In a really vague, general way, kanna feels a bit more like sativa, kava feels a bit more like indica.
Wow.
And when you take them together, it's like a nice hybrid.
Wow. Yeah. Very similar. Yeah, no, I love this whole functional ingredient movement that, and it seems to not be letting up. And I think but again, feel like it's that time of the CBD where, throwing dosing out there and not really understanding this proper stacking and the ratios and things like that. So that's the only thing I feel like.
And the truth is, our technology around manufacturing with these compounds is young. It's new. It's, although people have been using kava for 3,000 years and kanna for over 2,500 years, playing with the active ingredients, isolating them, putting back together in different combinations is new. And we are more, it's more similar to hemp technology in 2018, 19.
But I also kind of wanted to just go back too, because I think it's unique that you're using other minor cannabinoids in your drinks, and people aren't really doing that. And those are non-psychoactive, which would be allowed, I guess, in this.
We don't know yet, right? They haven't released the list of cannabinoids that will be permitted. They were supposed to do that back in March. The government, the FDA was supposed to give us a list of cannabinoids that would be legal. Still haven't seen that.
Oh God, this is
so
ridiculous.
we don't know. We don't know if CBN is going to be legal, and that's like probably the most
gummy.
popular cannabinoid after THC.
Yeah, I mean CBG too, but so as far as beverage formulations and adding these different cannabinoids, is so you just get isolates? Is that how you build it? Like, or how
for the beverages, yes, because we are using nano-encapsulated concentrates, and in order to get a true nanoparticulate size, you need to be working with single compound extractions.
Okay.
You're allowed to call something fast-acting and nano in a very broad range of particle sizes. So from like 74 nanometers all the way up to 220 nanometers. And the efficacy of your beverage will vary greatly depending on if you're on the lower end of that scale or the higher end. is it fast acting and most of the 10 milligrams have gotten into my bloodstream, or is it fast acting and 6 of the 10 milligrams have gotten into my bloodstream?
Right. It's another question.
So I have seen like fast acting nano full spectrum products, especially out on the West Coast. When I tried them, I would not say that they feel the same as a nano encapsulated isolate. But that technology is advancing quickly too. That was like last year that I was looking into it, so it could be totally different now.
Yeah. No, that seems to be, yeah. Just last on the minors. So you're using CBG as one of the minors that you
So
like.
in the beverages, CBD, CBG, THC, THCV. Those are the 4 that we worked with in beverage format so far. We played around with a CBN beverage, decided not to go that route.
Because this is more social.
More social, and also CBN has a much more acrid, bitter flavor. So it's very hard to mask in a beverage. In a gummy, you've got a lot of sugar. Like you could put a lot of sugar in the beverages too. But it's just easier to mask in a gummy. And like I said, we're never going to release something that we don't think is delicious. So we experimented with CBN beverages, didn't find a delicious option, and decided it wasn't that we're not the brand to make that one.
Okay. And then as far as like just, as you're always thinking, oh, what am I going to make next? What would be another cannabinoid or combo that you
I'm investigating CBC right now.
Okay.
It's not new to the market. It's very underrepresented on the East Coast, little bit more familiarity Midwest. Out West, you see quite a lot of CBC options, very little animal or no human research, but very little animal research or clinic computer models on what CBC might benefit. But it's an interesting compound that might have properties that are similar to CBG, with a lot of brain support, a lot of cognition support, potentially feeling more social, more outgoing. Have seen zero research to back that up, but that's kind of the anecdata that we're getting.
Okay.
And I would love to, I'd love to do more exploration in the acidic cannabinoids. Our cannabinoid product R&D is on hold until December, say.
So what?
Yeah, exactly.
Winding down. It's funny. I kind of really wanted to focus on the Vermont market, even though it's, I mean, beverages for sure, but I feel like I just loved going off and listening to all your, herbalist kind of.
Well, we can do it again. We can do a Vermont focused. The Vermont market is
a summary
cute, right? It's cute. There are 600,000 people in our state. That's when all the colleges are in session.
Oh, geez. That's small.
It's tiny. We love our state, and we've built a really strong brand here. We have the best selling cannabis edibles in the recreational market. We have the best selling cannabis beverages. Vermont does quality very well, but it's only impactful if we can then bring that to the rest of the country. And that's what we've done very well on the wellness side. I'd something like 400 co-ops across the nation carry our product line in their supplements aisle. And 17 states carry our THC beverages in their 21 plus aisle. And we've brought that ethos of exceptional quality, clean, natural, healthy labels, reliable effects to the national market. But there isn't much more growth that we can find in Vermont. We did establish the Hemp Beverage Coalition for our home state. We're one of the founding members of that. It includes 9 other brands combination of hemp, cannabis, and craft brewers.
Okay.
Vermont used to be, and probably still is, one of the best known states for craft beer. We have breweries that consistently are in the top 5 in the country and sometimes in the world when it comes down to those competitions. And they have seen massive growth and success with getting distribution through the liquor channel. Look at Vermont's cheese, right? Cabot cheddar, early days, now it's a little commodified, but Jasper Hill cheese winning again international awards, hand over fist.
I know that.
Yeah, so we all believe that the hemp and cannabis market can follow those trends for getting Vermont quality brands out into the world. But what, I'm allowed to manufacture over 1 milligram in Vermont. I'm not allowed to sell it here. So we make it here, but we can't sell it to any customers in Vermont. We're allowed to.
That is a crazy law.
It's insane.
You can make it, but you can't sell it.
Yeah. So I'm sure that you'll end up talking with Colorado brands. They're in the same boat. There are tons of THC beverage co-packagers in Colorado that don't have an in-house brand or an in-state brand because 1 milligram is the cap in Colorado, and they didn't even try to develop that market.
Yeah, like New York, they did. Nobody's tried to develop this market. Yeah,
right.
Not even happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was so great to hear about Upstate Elevator. I just have a whole new